Welcome to a very special episode of Tritiyo Matra. On this day in 1923, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk declared that Turkey was henceforth a republic. And on 22nd February 1974, on the occasion of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation OIC summit in Lahore, Turkey formally recognized Bangladesh as a sovereign state. On the 98th anniversary of the Turkish Republic, we'll be talking about the Bangladesh-Turkey relations with focus on cultural ties, economic and military cooperation. Our guest today is from the land of the Ottomans, the Turkish ambassador to Bangladesh, Mustafa Osman Turan. Throughout his career, he worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Department on the Middle East, NATO and Euro-Atlantic security and defense affairs, arms control and disarmament and multilateral economic affairs. Before being appointed as the ambassador of Bangladesh, as of 15th January 2020, he was based in Ankara as the Deputy Director General for multilateral economic affairs. As a career diplomat, he worked in Italy, Albania, Macedonia, Kosovo, Austria, Afghanistan and Belgium. Mustafa also has experience in the field of social entrepreneurship. His passion is to host meaningful conversation in inspiring places. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
Mr. Ambassador, it's been more than a year that you joined the Turkish embassy here in Bangladesh. What is your overall experience regarding the people, culture, and the political environment in Bangladesh?
Thank you. The first thing I would say, I feel like at home in Bangladesh because the level of hospitality I received here in Bangladesh is very much the one that we can experience in our own country. So I don't feel like a foreigner here. Wherever I go, I'm always warmly welcomed. People are very friendly. I was in Sylhet last weekend. I was very much, welcomed by the whole people, everybody. All my interlocutors were very, very close and very warm. So that's my main impression that I received in Bangladesh.
So which places have you visited in Bangladesh? As you said, you have been in Sylhet recently and the other places you have been?
Yes, I have been to Chittagong twice.
Okay.
We have an honorary consul general in Chittagong. I have also visited Cox's Bazar a few times. We have, since the beginning of the Rohingya crisis, we have people on the ground supporting the government of Bangladesh to host the Rohingya population in your country. And I have also visited the north of Bangladesh.
Okay.
As I said, I was in Sylhet, but also before that I was in Lalmonirhat. We had a project in Lalmonirhat to train young people for IT skills, okay, and also women for livelihood opportunities. I was in Ghazipur.
So very close to Dhaka.
Yes, close to Dhaka. So these are mainly the places I could visit. I wish there was no pandemic and I could see all of Bangladesh.
So where would you like to visit next?
I'm going to Sundarban in November, but also I would like to see wherever I can go. I would like to go, not just for business, but also to see the beautiful landscape in Bangladesh. Green, a lot of water, very warm people. I was cycling also around around Dhaka recently, and whenever you go into a village, people always greet and welcome you to their homes. So I'd like to have this experience further.
And what are the similarities of Dhaka and Ankara? Is there any?
Yeah, traffic.
Okay.
I mean, of course,
Very common.
traffic is more similar to Istanbul rather than Ankara. We have a lot of traffic, but also a lot of hardworking people. Many businesses, very vibrant. city, both Dhaka and Ankara and Istanbul, our major cities are also very much densely populated. And I think both of our people are very entrepreneurial. So they work long hours. I lived and worked in Europe or other countries. After a certain hour, it's hard to find a shop open in other countries. Whereas in Turkey, it's open for 24 hours. I think it's the same here.
In many places in Bangladesh is. In 2019, Ankara launched its Asia Anew initiative,
yes,
which seeks to boost the country's cooperation with Asian countries. Where does Bangladesh stand in that initiative? Do you consider Bangladesh as one of the closest partners in Asia?
Yes, we do. Turkey itself is also an Asian country, as you know. Most of our land is on the Asian continent. We have a small portion of our country on the European continent. And our ancestors came from this part of the world to Anatolia in the 11th century. And so that's why our policy is called Asia Anew. So this is not we are somehow putting more emphasis on our relations, bilateral relations with the countries in Asia, because the power center of the world is shifting towards Asia, both in economic and political terms. Therefore, we would like to improve our relations with Asian countries. Of course, Bangladesh is featuring higher on our agenda for this policy. Simply because we have deep-rooted historical ties, but also a growing potential for partnership in many fields. So, and we have no kind of hidden agenda between our countries. We are very open, very transparent. Not trying to pull Bangladesh towards a certain direction. So, what is good for Bangladesh is good for us. So I think a certain level of trust has been built between our leaders and also between our governments and the people. So that's why we see Bangladesh as a trusted, tested and trusted partner. And I think the government of Bangladesh also sees Turkey in the same way. The relations between our people have always been very good. So there is no doubt about that. But political relations also are keeping up with that level. Yeah. Yes.
Indeed, sounds good for Bangladesh. Mr. Ambassador, from 2012 to 2016, Turkey-Bangladesh relations were strained because of Turkey's strong condemnation of the International Wartime Tribunal prosecution of Jamaat Islami leaders. So, what was the turning point in the mending of the Turkey-Bangladesh relation? And are there any residual feelings of that timeline, 2012 to 2016?
Well, this has to be, in Turkey we have a saying. We say friends are, we speak honestly, like between friends. If I wish well for you, I need to say something that is honest, right? Yeah. I shouldn't hide behind, the political correctness or somehow, making myself being liked by you. I think should not be the right way. What is, during that time, I think was meant by our country was. We really care about the stability of Bangladesh. We really care about the prosperity of Bangladesh, like good friends, brothers and sisters. So, within a family, you sometimes may disagree, but you can speak your mind. So I think those times are over. Our leaders, especially the turning point was when there was a military coup attempt in Turkey in 2016. Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina sent a message of solidarity to our president because he was attempted to be assassinated by the coup plotters. I think Prime Minister Hasina felt some empathy towards our president and sent this very strong message of solidarity, and it was well appreciated by our president. And later on, when the Rohingya crisis hit and many people came to Bangladesh from Myanmar, our First Lady was one of the first international dignitaries to visit Bangladesh. And later on, our then Prime Minister, His Excellency Binali Yildirim, paid an official visit end of 2017. So since then, our bilateral relations are moving fast in a better direction. Last year, both of our foreign ministers have exchanged visits, to our countries. Both of our countries opened new embassy buildings, and our foreign ministers inaugurated them. So we are very happy to see that at this point in time, our bilateral relations are excellent.
And what will ensure sustainable relation?
Well, what will ensure is obviously we need to act upon our mutual interests, both in economic and political terms. High-level visits are important. There was an exchange of high-level visits in the early, in 2010. We had, I think, our Prime Minister, now President, Mr. Erdogan, was here in Bangladesh. Then there was LDC summit in Turkey. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina went to Turkey. So we need a similar exchange of high-level visits, which will strengthen our partnership. Exactly. And through those high-level visits, we will, create new models, new forms of partnership, both in trade and investment, but also cultural exchanges, exchanges between our universities, our various institutions, that will sustain our relationship.
Mr. Ambassador, you know that Bangladesh enjoys a good trade relation with Turkey, which currently stands at $1 billion USD. And the foreign minister of both nations, you have mentioned earlier, have agreed to double the trade volume.
Yes.
So is there any agreement on the table? And which sectors is Turkey focused in? And is Turkey interested in a free trade agreement with Bangladesh to boost economic cooperation between the countries?
Yes, we indeed agreed to double our trade. Actually, yesterday I joined a virtual trade delegation from Turkey. Turkish exporters have organized a virtual trade delegation to Bangladesh, and I spoke at the opening of that, contacts, and they want to increase it to $3 billion. So not just double, but triple in the next years. And I think that's a feasible target because I see that there is a growing interest. Many companies are interested both from Bangladesh but also from Turkey to do more trade. In the coming month of November, we will receive a trade delegation from Turkey participating in the International Investment Summit in Dhaka, hosted by BIDA, and they will have some high-level discussions with their counterparts, but also B2B meetings. So that's possible. Regarding the free trade agreement, that's something which is on the agenda. It can be either free trade agreement or a preferential trade agreement. We have a joint economic commission, co-chaired by the Honorable Finance Minister from Bangladesh, and our Minister of Tourism and Culture co-chairs this joint economic commission. We are hoping that they will meet this year or early next year to discuss these trade-related issues.
As you know, one of your office's priorities is to increase investment in Bangladesh. Is there any plan in your mind regarding the investment and targeted sectors, and will there be opportunity for Bangladesh to invest in Turkey?
Yes, investments are also increasing. We already have two large companies investing in Bangladesh. One is investing in the consumer goods field, household appliances, electronics. The name of the company is Arçelik, and they are a subsidiary of the Koç Group, one of our largest conglomerate, and they bought the majority shares of Singer Bangladesh. So Singer today is a very well respected brand, and it's now owned by a Turkish company, and it's doing a very good job in producing a high level products for households. The second investment was in the energy LPG business. Again, a subsidiary of Koç Group called Aygaz invested in Chittagong up to $150 million, and they are at the final stage of completing this, starting their investment. And there are other also companies in the pipeline who are willing to invest in Bangladesh. And I feel that there will be a lot of investment in the field of also construction work. Infrastructure projects are quite attractive for our companies. I'm sure they will come to Bangladesh in the years to come in bigger numbers.
And from Bangladesh side?
From Bangladesh, yes, we see some interest. For now, I think it's mainly a lot of companies are waiting for this legislation proposed by the government to invest in other countries. Once it's passed, I think it will be much easier for Bangladeshi companies to invest in Turkey. We have some people who are willing to buy houses in Turkey, but also, there may be some pharmaceutical companies, because your pharmaceutical industry is very powerful, and they may have some joint ventures in Turkey, or even sometimes it's attractive for RMG companies to have a base in Turkey as well, because they may sometimes have joint ventures to benefit from some of the design capabilities of our RMG factories. Then they can have complementary capabilities to export, high-end products from Turkey as well.
Bangladesh Army Chief General S.M. Shafiuddin Ahmed also went on an 8-day visit to Turkey from August 18 to 26, 2021, when he met top Turkish military officials, including Defense Minister and head of Turkey's defense industries presidency, and discussed issues of possible defense cooperation, training and exchanges. How can Bangladesh and Turkey increase military cooperation, and is there a possibility of joint military exercises?
Yes, as I said earlier, Bangladesh and Turkey are two trusted friends. Even if we sometimes disagree on something, we trust each other. And as I said, Turkey has no hidden agenda, no strategic orientation which would not be in line with Bangladesh's own foreign policy. So very much like Bangladesh, we also pursue an independent foreign policy, and Bangladesh, I think, sees Turkey as a good source of military equipment, and also our military people at the highest level. They get along very well. They support each other. They exchange visits. We already have agreements to promote this cooperation. The Bangladeshi officers participate in our training programs, and we sometimes send our officers to your National Defense Academy to study. There may be in the future joint, your planes or personnel are participating in exercises in Turkey, and our people are invited here to participate in exercises. We are expecting our Chief of Naval Forces to come, in November to Bangladesh, and also defense cooperation, like defense industry cooperation. We are very much willing to make some joint ventures. For example, shipbuilding, like military ships or other equipment. I was in Gazipur at the Bangladesh Ordnance Factory,
yep.
And they are very much interested in cooperation. We have some projects which also include some technology transfer. This is very important for Bangladesh because we don't just sell but also provide the maintenance, training, and spare parts. So Turkey is a very good source of military equipment for Bangladesh.
So we can say that Turkey considers Bangladesh a critical market for its defense industry.
It is indeed, and it's because Bangladesh sees Turkey as a reliable partner in this field, also because we don't attach any political conditionality to our defense sales. Turkey suffered a lot from these political conditions attached to the weapons we are buying from other countries, and we don't do that when we engage in partnership with other countries.
And Turkey is also willing to provide Bangladesh the technology, as you have said,
yes.
Required to manufacture weapon here.
Exactly, yes.
That's good. As a NATO member, how is Turkey managing the difficult but necessary relation with Russia?
As I said, again, Turkey pursues an independent foreign policy. Of course, we are a very important partner of NATO. We are a member of NATO since the beginning. Turkey played an important role during the Cold War to defend the southern flank of NATO, and we really have the second biggest army in NATO, and now equipped with modern weapons and armed systems. This doesn't mean that we cannot have good relations with other significant players like the Russian Federation. It's our neighbor. We have historical relations, and sometimes when we need certain equipment and if we cannot procure that equipment from our NATO allies, obviously we opt for other countries' systems. So this is an independent foreign policy, and our government and president is very keen on not really tying our foreign policy to any country.
Syria is central to the current shape of Turkey-Russia relations, whether interest or competitive. What is the end goal of Turkey in Syria?
Our end goal is to end the conflict in Syria between the people of Syria and the Syrian regime, and we are contributing to the political process. There is this Astana process, and we are engaged in all these diplomatic efforts to end the conflict in Syria and also have a stable government which is supported by the people of Syria. Unfortunately, the current Syrian regime has attacked its own people, and therefore they had to flee their country. And we are hosting 4 million Syrians in Turkey because of those attacks. And it's in our interest that Syria is back to its stability and prosperity, not only because our Syrian brothers and sisters should be able to return back to their country in safety and dignity and voluntarily, but also we would like to do more trade. We would like to, develop our relations with Syria. Before the conflict, our relations were excellent, but unfortunately, this conflict ruined that relationship.
Mr. Ambassador, Turkey seems to be very aware about the climate change and its consequences. Are there any possibilities of collaboration between Turkey and Bangladesh to fight against the climate issues?
Yes.
And you know that Bangladesh is a very much vulnerable
yes,
country.
Yes, we appreciate the role played by Bangladesh in this international effort to mitigate the consequences of climate change and reverse it if possible. Obviously, Bangladesh has a big experience in addressing natural disasters and also climate-related challenges. That's why I think the leadership role that Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is playing and is going to play in Glasgow, in a few days, is very significant for vulnerable countries. And Turkey is on the side of vulnerable countries. We have had an issue regarding the Paris Agreement, which is now resolved because we wanted to also benefit from certain funds that are related to climate finance, and now it's possible. And we signed we had already signed the Paris Agreement. Now we ratified it in our parliament, so it opens the doors for further collaboration between Turkey and other countries, and obviously Bangladesh is one of them, because I know that the government of Bangladesh is now moving towards renewable energy, and Turkey has a good level of technology in this field, and our companies can collaborate, our governments can collaborate in this field. So we are also collaborating at the international organizations regarding this issue. There's always a close consultation between our delegations whenever we participate in international meetings.
Yeah, you have mentioned about the Rohingya issues earlier. Turkey has actively supported the Rohingya cause at the UNYC and other global forums. How do you think Bangladesh can repatriate the refugees living in the camps in Cox's Bazar, and what actions is Turkey willing to take on the repatriation of the Rohingya?
Well, Rohingya issue is a complex one, and Turkey is a country which is best placed to understand this complex situation that it brings to Bangladesh, because we are also hosting, as I said, 4 million refugees in Turkey for the last 10 years. So we fully understand the challenges this poses. It drains the resources of our countries, and there is not enough international support, to both Turkey and Bangladesh. Unfortunately, international community is doing as much as they can, but there are so many conflicts around the world. So the resources are channeled to many different conflicts, especially now with pandemic. Many countries reduce their funding for such crisis. So I think the best way to solve, obviously, to repatriate all these refugees back to their country. However, both in Syria and in Myanmar, there is yet to be a conducive environment for the repatriation. For a conducive environment for repatriation, there is a need for political will from these countries, both Syria and Myanmar, to create the conditions on the ground for repatriation and make agreements. Bangladesh and Myanmar were starting to discuss repatriation just before pandemic, and also the military coup that took place. Unfortunately, it was interrupted now. We are hoping that they will resume the talks, and Turkey always stands beside Bangladesh, not just to host the Rohingyas, but also to put pressure on Myanmar to accept their people back to their country. We support the international cases against Myanmar in the courts, the international courts. We also in the OIC and the UN. We are always in solidarity with Bangladesh on the Rohingya issue.
And what is the progress of the Turco-Vac vaccine?
Yes.
Is Turkey willing to provide the necessary technology to produce the vaccine?
Yes, we are at the final stage of human trials of the Turco-Vac vaccine. It's developed completely with our national resources and technology. So whenever it's ready to be used and all the necessary permissions are received, we will not only use it in our own country, but also make it available to other countries who may wish to use it. Our president declared this, at the UN in last September. Whenever our vaccine is available, we will make it. We will also use it in other countries for their population. So I'm sure one of those countries can be Bangladesh, and we are also willing to cooperate in vaccine production. I know Bangladesh is also is working on its own vaccine, so we can exchange, technology and expertise on vaccine production as well.
You consider yourself a diplomat by profession, social entrepreneur by passion. So what would be your suggestion to the entrepreneurs of Bangladesh, especially the youth entrepreneurs?
Yes, indeed, I consider myself also a social entrepreneur by passion because, in my certain assignments in some other countries, like before you mentioned some of them, I came across with how innovative and creative entrepreneurs can be to address societal challenges, social entrepreneurship. So what I suggest to young entrepreneurs is really to think not just about profit, but also impact they will create in society, because their future is at stake. If we don't address complex challenges of development, climate change, income inequality, livelihoods, our children and grandchildren will inherit a much worse, planet than we have taken from our fathers and grandfathers. So I think what they need to do is to learn more about how they can use technology to address those challenges and create teams of talented entrepreneurs to work together, to really serve humanity with their creative solutions, which can be sustainable with their profitable business models. I was very actively involved in the launch of an accelerator in Turkey with the backing of our ministry. It's called SDG Impact Accelerator. So we organized one program in Turkey related to challenges of refugees.
Okay.
The second program was organized in Bangladesh and in Uganda at the same time. And in Bangladesh, we address financial inclusion. And two startups were graduated. They are Bangladeshi startups, Balo and Shadin. They are very good. They were selected out of 1,000 applications as the best entrepreneurs as startups. So I would like to congratulate them here.
There are many things happening in geopolitical arena. So how do you see the rivalry between China and USA and in the regional context of India and China?
Yes. As I said, the center of power in terms of politics and economy is shifting towards Asia. So there is, during the Cold War, the rivalry between East and West, between the NATO and the Soviet Union, was centered around Europe. Now it's centered in Asia, and in Asia, unfortunately, again there is a rivalry, competition between the United States and its allies and China and its the countries who are aligning themselves with China. And there are a lot of countries also who are in between. You know, they don't want to really take sides, involved in this rivalry. And I see that Bangladesh is one of them. Like, it's pursuing a very careful, balanced foreign policy between these two blocs. And I think it's a very wise foreign policy, you know, based on the traditional, you know, friendship to all, malice to none foreign policy. We have a similar policy in Turkey. You know, coming from our, at the times of our early days of our republic, peace at home, peace in the world was the motto of Atatürk, and we still pursue that. So we don't like these rivalries because they can escalate. You know, they can escalate to military conflict. If diplomacy does not work, it can escalate, and we don't want the future of our young generations to be damaged by military conflict. So Turkey is a force behind peace, just like Bangladesh. I know Bangladesh is contributing a lot to peacekeeping operations in the world, and we are doing the same. So we rather promote peace, stability, and multilateral cooperation than political competition between blocs.
So in this regard, everything focuses on South China Sea, Indo-Pacific, and Bay of Bengal. So blue economy, blue diplomacy, whatever we can say. How do you put yourself in this, your country in this?
I think there are a lot of opportunities presented by the concept of blue economy. And I think Bay of Bengal is a very natural place where this can be put in practice because you have a lot of marine resources which can be utilized for economic livelihoods, fisheries, natural resources, transportation, many different opportunities, even energy production through windmills in the sea. There is a lot of possibility for renewable energy in the sea basins. So I think my country is surrounded by sea on three dimensions, on three sides, in the Mediterranean, Aegean Sea, and Black Sea. So we are very much supporting the cooperation in the international waters, but also in the exclusive economic zones of our countries. So I know that you will organize an event on the Bay of Bengal, and we are looking forward to it because we would like to understand what kind of partnerships can emerge in this region in terms of blue economy and the cooperation in our neighborhood in near Bangladesh. I guess we need to. This can be a new opportunity for cooperation for the states, the coastal states of Bay of Bengal and in this region. I think the region needs this more than ever.
By the way, is there any cultural and educational program between these two countries? Turkey and Bangladesh.
Yes.
Do you have any common program or exchange program like?
Well, we provide scholarships to students. Okay. So every year we provide 50 scholarships. Currently, more than 600 students are in Turkish universities. And we are also developing cooperation between our universities. Both your ambassador in Turkey and myself, we are visiting universities to sign MOUs, to cooperate, like exchanges between academics, but also researchers. And we also want to open what we call a cultural center. We have a national cultural institute called Yunus Emre Cultural Institute. We hope to open their office in Dhaka because there is a big demand for learning the Turkish language, also learning different aspects of our culture. As you know, Turkish serials are very popular in Bangladesh and in this region.
And you know that Channel I is also running a Turkish serial.
Yes, yes. I heard that today, and I'm very pleased to hear about that. I knew that some other channels were broadcasting, but we are grateful for Channel I for also broadcasting one of the Turkish serials. They have been quite popular recently in many countries, not just here. I think the main reason is because they pick very interesting stories and produce a good quality, in terms of production of these serials. They show some historical places and Istanbul, some beautiful scenery. And also, I think they also touch the emotions of the people.
And what's the Turkish dream? I mean, after 40, 50 years in the global platform, how do you want to see Turkey
in the future?
In the future, after 50 years.
After 50 years. 50 years is a long time.
Yeah, long
it's
time.
Very hard to predict.
20, 30 years.
Yeah.
No, can you predict that?
The world is very volatile, obviously. International politics, economics. Who could imagine we would have the pandemic? Or the financial crisis that we had in 2008. The only hope that we have is that there will be no third world war. That would be a catastrophe, because that's really with this current technology, I think the weapons are a lot more destructive than ever before. So I think we should, at any cost, we have to avoid any major military conflict. So what I want to see in terms of Turkey's role in the world is that we will continue to be the promoter of peace and stability around the world. I'd like to see Turkey, we have our president and our government has a target to be one of the top 10 economies in the world in the next in the next 10 to 15
10
years.
to 50 years.
So if we achieve that target, that means we will have more resources, to build more partnerships, to support, Africa and other places which need our partnership. We can do more trade and work for peace and stability in the world.
And you have been here in Bangladesh for almost 2 years, so close to 2 years. So to your eyes, what's Bangladesh weakness and strength?
Well, strengths are very well recognized. One strength is resilience, obviously. Bangladesh, it's a fascinating development story. In 50 years, Bangladesh has moved very far, and it has become a model for other countries in terms of not just in terms of economic development, but also, for example, women empowerment, reducing child mortality, decreasing illiteracy rates. I think the governments have played an important role, but obviously the current government should take much of the credit, because most of this development has accelerated in the past 10 to 15 years. And the credit should also go to civil society. Bangladesh has very strong civil society organizations who work everywhere in the country. Wherever I go, NGOs like BRAC or Friendship, they are very powerful, very innovative at the same time. So resilience is one big strength of Bangladesh. Another one is entrepreneurship. People have entrepreneurial mindset.
Yep.
They kind of move very fast. They can move from one sector to another whenever there is an opportunity. So they are very agile, companies, entrepreneurs. I think this is a big strength, especially companies run by young people. They are also very early adopters of new technologies, new ways of doing business. A lot of young entrepreneurs are coming to me and asking, what are the opportunities in Turkey? What can we do? So this is a very dynamic society which looks for opportunities everywhere in the world. I think that's a big strength. And the third one, I think, is the women in Bangladesh. I think women are everywhere, and not just in RMG factories, but also at the highest levels of the government.
Yep.
Prime Minister, the Speaker of the Parliament, and judges and university professors everywhere. So I think women empowerment, participation of women in the workforce is a big strength for Bangladesh.
Any weakness?
Yeah. Weakness, every country has a weakness.
Yeah.
As I said, friends are honest. So I have to say a few words on that front too, because I think if those things are addressed, Bangladesh will achieve its target of becoming a developed country much faster. So I think one thing is that there is a need for a better domestic resource mobilization through tax collection. Okay. I think the income inequality is very big in Bangladesh, and I think now those companies who are making a lot of profits need to pay a proportionate amount of taxes so that the government can invest more in education and health sector. I think education and health are the two sectors that need more investment in Bangladesh. A lot of people are going to other countries for treatment, because they don't have social security and good health service here. So they move to other countries. I think and Bangladesh today, is generating a lot of economic wealth. So that means with a good system for tax collection, a lot of resources can be channeled towards education and health. And a lot of people's lives will be much better. It breaks my heart, and I've seen this many times around around me, that sometimes a family which has lifted itself out of poverty, suddenly a family member becomes seriously ill, and because of the cost of their treatment, they fall back into poverty again, because there is no social security for them. So I think this is a serious challenge.
This needs to be addressed. Yeah.
It needs to be addressed in the years to come, and I think the government is planning to do something about this, and it should go hand in hand, with supporting the private sector. The government should not only, make their lives easier, but also ask something in return in the form of taxes, I think.
So we are almost at the end of the program. So, Mr. Ambassador, how did you find Bangladeshi food?
Oh, food
and Bangladeshi people.
The food and people, yes. One of the I think things that make me feel at home here is, whenever I meet someone, the first thing, after a few sentences, is that I am invited to their house. So this is a sign of a warm hospitality, a sincere, wish to really build friendship with a foreigner. And whenever I go to a house, and I usually, accept those invitations, I'm always served with a lot of food. So you have a variety of food that is very delicious. They're a little bit spicy, but according to our standards. But I like spicy food. So personally,
so it's not irritate your stomach.
No, it doesn't. I like myself. I got used to it, and I enjoy very much not just the food, but also the conversation around the table of dining. Yeah.
Well, first about culture, music, film, literature.
Yes, one of the first things I have done when I came last year was to organize there is this, the International Women's Day, and on the 8th of March every year. So you were there as well. Yeah. So I organized this cultural event, and it was wonderful because we had a selection of different cultural, like music, dance, also poetry, theater. It was put together by a curator, and everybody enjoyed a lot. I hope you did as well. And we had, remember, Farida Parveen singing Lalon songs. And I was fascinated how Lalon songs, when I heard, they are inspired by Sufism and our shared culture and values. So now I would like to bring some Sufi musicians in December, and also whirling dervishes to Dhaka, and maybe they will travel to Chittagong and Sylhet, inshallah. So we have a lot of common elements in our culture and music. So I really enjoy like baul musicians, and also Kathak dance. It's similar to our whirling dervishes. So a lot of similarities, but also modern, cultural elements. I am also engaging with young people who do jazz, for example. I invited them to our embassy garden once, and we had a small gathering with young, jazz musicians. I am also trying to learn how to play drums from one of them. So it's amazing to see the cultural richness in Bangladesh.
And you know that our national poet, Qazi Nazrul Islam,
yes.
And
yes.
you can sing a song.
Yes. From, yeah, when I was invited to a party, it was like, there is always either, what I really like in Bangladesh is when you are invited, it's not just about small talk. It's also about deep conversations, like addas, adda culture. And also, sometimes when I'm invited, people start reciting poems or start singing. So
and you had to.
Yes, you have to respond sometimes. When they ask you kindly if you want to recite a poem or sing a song, I feel like everybody is doing it. Why shouldn't I?
Can you hear two lines?
You mean a song?
Yeah. Why not?
So there is this song actually, which was translated from a Turkish song. It's a very old song. We call it Katibim. And Qazi Nazrul Islam translated it into Bangla, and it's become very popular also in Bangladesh. I heard. I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong. So it's something like this. Üsküdar'a giderken aldı da bir yağmur. Üsküdar'a giderken aldı da bir yağmur. Katibimin setresi uzun, eteği çamur. Katibime kolalı da gömlek, ne güzel yaraşır. Do you remember this?
Excellent. I heard this song from you before. So my last and final question. So on this day, on your national day, what is your message to Bangladeshi people, Bangladeshi citizens?
First of all, my message is really to really not to lose hope at any circumstance, because the world is a difficult place, and our countries are sometimes facing difficulties. Turkey also has gone through a lot of difficulties in the recent past. Also, we faced a military coup attempt, we had terrorist attacks, we had earthquakes, we had forest fires, we had many challenges. But once there is solidarity in society, once there is unity in society, there is nothing we cannot do. So I think it applies also to Bangladesh. We need to see that there is more tolerance, more mutual understanding, more working together in harmony, for the benefit of our countries. So I think the recent events showed to many of us in Bangladesh that unless we really respect all people, who are different than our religion or our culture, we cannot fulfill our full potential as a country. So I think Bangladesh and Turkey can become examples for the rest of the world for multicultural and multi-religious coexistence and respect towards each other. We have those traditions in the roots of our culture, in Sufism, in our religion, in our cultural traditions. We always are very hospitable, very supportive of each other. So I think my message is unity. My message is mutual respect and understanding. And I'm sure this will also be an example for the rest of the world in terms of, everybody is talking about, clash of civilizations and all that. I think there's a need for Turkey and Bangladesh to play an important role, that another alternative is possible, which is peace and living together in harmony.
Indeed, it's a fascinating discussion. Ambassador Mustafa Osman Turan, thank you for joining us. Viewers,
thank you.
Congratulations to the Turkish people on the anniversary of their republic. Thanks to the ambassador for giving us his valuable time and insights on the Bangladesh-Turkey relations. And thank you all. Thank you for joining us.